Welcome to this video. Now I'm trying something new that this content is not readily available anywhere, and I want to start off by saying that I'm not a financial analyst or anything, but I have a keen interest of world events and astrology. And let's just say that since 2008, the situation with Pluto, when Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, entered Capricorn, that's when the financial system began to deconstruct itself. Okay, the financial system that we put up, that we've created. Now, what's going on with right now is that Uranus, that is the planet of technology, has now moved into Taurus, which deals with the banking system. Now, if you've been following world politics, you already know that there is right now a situation where less than 1% controls practically all the wealth of the world. All right, it's negligible the amount we hold together as people, as denizens of the earth. So there is a huge imbalance with the way Gaia's resources are being used, and right now is the time to truly understand the evils that money has created, because money by itself is not evil. Nothing by itself is evil. So we've got to understand that the systems we create, they become our destruction because we let them, right? So now with Bitcoin, there is a huge resurrection of people's rights. Okay, and this is very, very Uranian. Another key component to understand before we truly get into Bitcoin is that humanity as a whole is operating from an Aquarius ascendant at this point, and Uranus rules Aquarius on the exoteric level, in the usual sense. The esoteric ruler of Aquarius is Jupiter, but that's another discussion. The point is that we are all operating from an Aquarian ascendant, the collective. So times are Uranian, whether we know astrology or not. And Uranus moving into Taurus, which deals with our banking systems, which deals with the way we use money, tells me that the time is ripe for a new digital currency. Now, I'm going to be discussing with you some very interesting finds that I have gathered in my research on the cryptos and Bitcoin. I have been steadily collecting data on the cryptocurrencies for the last few years, but the interest now, it's something that we can't ignore because Uranus is already in Taurus. So I just want to tell you that Bitcoin was born 2009, 3rd of December at 6:15 p.m. Tokyo. All right. Now, and Bitcoin, the creation of Bitcoin was actually part of the Saros eclipse that began in 2008 in Leo. So this is this time with Pluto and Capricorn, and the eclipses, the Saros eclipse series, all of this that started up. It shows that society as we know it, structures as we know it, are disintegrating. They are breaking apart. So it's important to understand the archetypes that are present in the natal chart of Bitcoin. And I've gone one step forward when I've been looking at fixed stars recently a lot. So I have tried to link up some of the fixed stars with the planets that make up the natal chart of Bitcoin. I'll as I progress, I'll explain it to you if you don't understand. But for now, let's discuss the placement of the sun. Now for Bitcoin, the sun is in the 13 degree 8 minutes of Capricorn. Capricorn is the 10th sign of the zodiac, or the midheaven. This is, excuse me, also known as your career sector. Your midheaven is your social prestige. Okay, so Bitcoin has the sun in Capricorn. All right, and the houses I will discuss later. Let's just get to the planets first. All right, the moon is in Pisces. Okay, the sun does quite well in Capricorn. So the sun is able to express its energies uh, in Capricorn, and the sun is how we want to be perceived. So Bitcoin actually wants to be perceived as an entity that is hardworking, industrious, ruled by Saturn, Capricorn. So one step at a time, disciplined, iron will. But this energy can be selfish. This energy can get cold. You know, the mantra of Capricorn is I use. It should not become I use and abuse. So that's something Bitcoin has to worry about, the negative vibrations of Capricorn. Other than that, it really, I'm going to discuss the aspects later, but just let's discuss the archetypes of the planets. Now, the moon is in Pisces, the 29th degree of Pisces. And this is very karmic, because 29 degrees to 0 degrees are called critical degrees, and it's where the veils, like literally the veil is the thinnest in such degrees, and energies from both the signs tend to seep in. So the moon is actually at the very end of Pisces on the 29th degree, 29 minutes, almost entering Aries. Now the energy signatures of Aries and Pisces are very different, okay? And here we've got the fixed star sheet. Scheat, sheet. Okay, sheet, sheet. Okay, and this is quite a malefic star. As I was looking into the nature of the star is of Mars and Mercury, with a touch of Saturn. So this moon of Bitcoin to me is conjunct sheet. All right, so that brings about this suddenness, this extreme misfortune could be associated with it. And remember, a moon is the emotions. So since Bitcoin is definitely an entity by itself, okay, everything is an entity, everything is conscious, from the tiniest atoms to the greatest constellations above. So this is something you've got to understand, that the emotional journey of Bitcoin is conflicted. All right. Now, with sheet, the fixed star sheet, which is at the very last degree and last minute of Pisces, there's this uh, misfortune with the drowning or suicide. These morbid and dark themes are associated with this fixed star sheet. And so there are rumors of suicides of the creator, of disappearance, of so the sea, and suicide and drowning. And drowning, we know, drowning in digital data. It doesn't have to be literally the sea. It can be drowning in digital data. So the emotional journey of Bitcoin, I would say, is conflicted. Now, interestingly, another thing that I really want to bring to notice here, moon is exalted in Pisces. So the moon is able to express herself fluidly in the chart of Bitcoin. Aspects I'll get into later. Houses, discussion of houses I'll get into later. Understand the archetypes and some fixed stars that are creating conjunctions or very close conjunctions to go with the planets of Bitcoin's natal chart. So now the Mercury is on 2 degrees 23 minutes of Aquarius. Now this is very very interesting that Aquarius, again I told you, is Uranus rules Aquarius. Aquarius rules the internet, rules digital information, rules cryptocurrencies. So Mercury is the planet of communication. So the way Bitcoin communicates is Aquarian, community oriented. That is what P2P business structure is. Peer-to-peer business structure is a classic example of Mercury in Aquarius. All right. Now the other interesting thing here is 3 degrees of Aquarius, where the Mercury is placed for the natal chart of Bitcoin. There is a fixed star called Geidi, Geidi, and Geidi is a very benefic star. So communication of Bitcoin is like super blessed. Bitcoin will be able to communicate its ideals, its information to the world. It's going to be fluid, and it's going to bring about a benefic results for all. It's an offering. This star Gedi is an offering. So conjunctions with this star brings about offerings and sacrifices. Okay, so another interesting thing is Gedi actually has the nature of the sun and represents every bit of energy of the constellation of Capricornus, where this is placed. Okay, in Aquarius. So sorry, not Capricorn, in Aquarius, where this is placed. Okay, 3 degrees where Mercury is positioned in the natal chart of Bitcoin. So that tells me that there is fluidity with the way information is going to be exchanged with Bitcoin. There'll be fluidity with this. Now the other thing that I wanted to get to is Venus. Venus is the archetype of love and money. So the way people will love Bitcoin and is going to be symbolized by its Venus. And look where Venus is, right back in Aquarius. So this Bitcoin, now I've taken Tokyo as a place of origin. People have taken, there are numerous other alternatives. So for me, Bitcoin's natal chart is full of Aquarius. And remember, we are all functioning from an Aquarian ascendant, humanity at large, okay? Now back to Venus is at 29 degrees 51 minutes of Aquarius in Bitcoin's chart, and this brings about Uranian technology. Venus, Bitcoin will make money with technology. Uranus, Bitcoin has been created because of technology. And how karmic is it to have your Venus and your Mercury in Aquarius? So this is stuff that you can't make up. You know, this is really like crazy. Now what's going on with Mars? Mars in Bitcoin's natal chart is in, so Mars is the impulse to grow, to create action, the impulse of action. So Bitcoin's action is Capricornian, steady, slow, earthy, and Mars loves to be in Capricorn because of the hard work and grounded energy and focused nature it can get. Capricorn, after all, is the archetype of the corporate boss. Now, so Mars is at 5 degrees 19 minutes, and over there is the fixed star Polis Fixel, which is actually tremendously benefic for the chart of Bitcoin, because this Polis Fixel is of nature of Jupiter and Mars. And here we are talking about Mars conjunct this. So the tremendous will and action to go forward is present here with the Mars of Bitcoin. And this polysphic cell is composed, as I said, of the energies of Jupiter and Mars. And Jupiter is all about expansion, and Mars is about the impulse to grow. So this brings hardcore success. So, and this is very ambitious, and can be warlike. Okay, can also be very perceptive, very perspicacious, very perceptive of everything. Okay, so Bitcoin's impulse to go forward in the world is supported by this polysphic cell, which is giving it this extra impetus to gain high success in the world. So interesting. Now, the other thing that I wanted to get to is that Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is also in Capricorn. Now, what I want to say is this Capricornus, it influences climate and political customs. So Gedi, that is actually in Aquarius, it's actually in the constellation of Capricornus. As I was right, I just got confused then. So here, Gedi actually gives out the whole energy of the whole constellation, and this constellation is tremendously important because it influences our climate and our climate change and political customs, which Bitcoin is going to address like crazy, because we know that Bitcoin, because of Bitcoin mining, it is said that by 2018 end, Bitcoin will use as much electricity as Austria. All right, so this is not a sustainable way to go. Bitcoin has to figure out how it can address the climate change. And this climate change is all have to do with Gedi, and Mercury is conjunct Gedi. So how you communicate, how information is distributed will come into question, and this will be linked to the earth. This is why environmentalists are not up for cryptocurrencies, and especially Bitcoin, because of the amount of energy it's consuming. It's crazy. Okay, now Jupiter, another thing that I want to mention here, is debilitated in Capricorn. What does that mean? That means Jupiter, the planet which is considered to be the great benefic, cannot give all the benefits in Capricorn. So with Bitcoin, the expansion, it could be phenomenal, yes, but there will also be a contraction. Okay, in its stages. Again, as I said, aspects I'll get into later, but just understanding the basics. Jupiter signifies expansion, and here you've got Jupiter not in a debilitated state. So that is bound to affect the expansion of your particular endeavor, you know. Now, Jupiter is at 2929. Again, this is the second time a planet is at 2929. Okay, no, that the Venus is at 29:51, and this uh, Jupiter is 2929, and this is also very karmic. 29 is 11, 29, 11, 11, 11. So Bitcoin will be very karmic and a master number. Okay, now Saturn is retrograde in Virgo, and Saturn is all about the 3D structures that we create. Okay, and Saturn retrograde poses its own karmic challenges, and we can see that as Bitcoin has moved into Capricorn. As Saturn has moved into Capricorn, it will trigger Mars and Jupiter much later on. But yeah, it's going to, Mars is at what degree? Mars is at 5 degrees. So yeah, Saturn's already, done the gig over there. So that's why the and Saturn is retrograde right now as we speak, and Bitcoin is fluctuating like crazy. It was fluctuating. Actually, now it is standardized, and with the Lightning Network and its efficacy, which again I will discuss in great detail, the Lightning Network and its astrology and how it is being put to use. I'll get into great detail. But for now, what you need to understand is when Saturn starts going direct, actually, when Saturn is retrograde right now, it's doing a lot for Bitcoin behind the scenes with the energies of the planets when that particular planet is retrograde in the sky. It's crazy, it just happens that way. So, Saturn loves to be in Virgo, loves the discipline and hard work that Virgo brings in. So, all good there. Now, Uranus is in Pisces. Now, the outer planets don't have any exaltation or anything particularly like that. But Uranus is the planet of disruption, and Pisces is again all about spirituality, mysticism, other worlds, parallel dimensions. So I'll get into greater detail later on. What you need to know is that this drowning motif, drowning in the seas, in waters, in data streams, in information. Excuse me. Now Neptune is again in Aquarius, and don't forget Venus for Bitcoin is also in Aquarius, like Mercury. Do you see how much of Aquarian energy this entity Bitcoin has? So this is crazy. And don't forget, Neptune is a higher vibration of Venus, and Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, and Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, and Uranus is in Pisces, so Neptune is in Aquarius. So I have to look at the aspects, and then I can tell you if mutual receptivity is happening. Now, on the other hand, Pluto is in Capricorn, and rightfully so. This heralds the beginning of Pluto in Capricorn era, which is going to bring down the redundant systems that are no longer serving us. What I want to emphasize here is that it's fun to explore Bitcoin not only as a financial analyst, but also as someone who is interested in the esoteric and the occult, and looking at astrology and looking at Bitcoin really much more than just a cryptocurrency. It's a social phenomena, and it has the potentiality to liberate us. All right, but things are hidden about it, and there will be, I would say 2019 will be the time when Bitcoin finds itself in its tipping point, and 2020 with the great conjunction of Jupiter, Pluto and Saturn, Bitcoin will take center stage. Of course, there are other cryptos that are coming up all the time, and I'm going to get heavily into that. I will get into great detail with the placements and the houses of Bitcoin. But for now, I hope you liked the astrological breakdown of the archetypes that are present in the chart of Bitcoin, and I hope you like the fixed star analysis. So leave me a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe, like, share with the world, share with your friends who are interested in Bitcoin and the crypto world, and let them know that there is work being done that looks at very many psychic and spiritual implications for the cryptos, and particularly Bitcoin. It's lovely being here. This is Tina from Tinaheals signing off.